Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So we have finished with random access protocols, except for CSMA CA. We are now looking at the next type, which is controlled access protocols. And in controlled access protocols, we are specifically looking at polling. In controlled access, one station has a higher priority over other stations. And the station that has the higher priority will send. In random access, all the stations were equal. But in controlled access, this is not the case. There will be one station that is superior, or one station who is, you could say, the primary device. Okay? So polling works with topologies where you could have one device designated as a primary station and other devices are secondary stations. So we saw this, a good example of this is Bluetooth, right? We saw how we have a primary station and we have secondary stations. All data exchanges must be made through the primary device. Okay, so the secondary devices cannot communicate with one another directly. Okay, and we said in this case, if this is the primary device and we have a set of secondary devices on the network, okay, these are all the secondary devices, S2, S3, and S4, and this is the primary device. In here, even though S1 and S2 are next to each other, they cannot directly communicate with each other. If S wants to send something to S2, it will have to go to P, and then P sends it to S2. Okay, everything happens through the primary device. And the primary device will control the link. So at any time, only the device that is authorized by the primary device, only that device which the primary gives permission to can send. All the other devices will be quiet. Okay? So now, and it is up to the primary device to decide which device is allowed to use the channel at a given time. Okay, so this is polling, we said. Now we are looking at two different functions for polling. We have one called select, where the primary is selecting a secondary device to send something. Okay, the primary here is selecting a secondary device to send something. In the poll method, the secondary device wants to send something to the primary, but they cannot do anything until the primary contacts them. So until the primary device contacts the secondary device, they will wait patiently. Okay, this is for poll. Now let's look at the select mechanism in here. The primary will send a select message. In here, it wants to send something to B. So the primary sends a select message to B. B responds with an acknowledgement saying, I am ready, I am okay to accept what you are wanting to send me. And then from the primary will send the data, whatever it wants to send, to B. And then B will send, after it receives all the data successfully, B will send an acknowledgement saying, yes, I have received everything successfully. Okay, so this is the select mechanism. Now we said in the next one, here the primary, the secondary wants to send to the primary, but it cannot send until the primary contacts the secondary device. So what will the primary do? From time to time, it will send a message called a poll message. Okay? It will send a message called a poll message asking the devices, do you have something to send? Okay? Do you have something to send? I'm contacting you. In this case, A doesn't have anything, so it will send a negative acknowledgement. No, I have nothing to send. Then the primary polls station B. B, do you have something to send to me? In this case, yes, B does have something. Now B will not send an acknowledgement in this case. Okay? B will not send an acknowledgement because it will add more time to it. So instead, B has been waiting for a long time already. So instead, what will B do? When it receives the poll message from the primary, it will simply send the data to make things short. Okay? It takes like a shortcut and it just sends directly the data. And then the primary, after it receives the data, it will send an acknowledgement saying it has received the data successfully. Okay, so this was the polling mechanism in controlled access.